I want to give you a little update on my papercrete repairs. So this had broken some time ago in the wind, and all these had peeled off. So I cut it back, I screwed it back on, I sank a little screw in each of these three pieces that I managed to kind of cut back enough to make fit well enough, and I put a little Elmer's glue under there just because I had some for good measure. And now I'm going to come back with a little freshly made colored papercrete and seal that in, and it'll be good as new. You probably won't even be able to tell it was ever damaged. And then over here I had some cracks going when this thermal mass wall, it's an insulated thermal mass wall, and I had some cracks going in it, so that kind of darker and lighter patch that you see on the top, that's my repair job from yesterday. That's all gonna dry, and then I'm gonna put a layer of plastic. I came up here because there was a gap up here by the wood, and it's probably still gonna pull back and gap a little, but it'll be less, and then I can use caulking and or plaster to fill that in as it comes along. I wanted to show you my little bucket batch of papercrete getting ready to go, just for this little bit of repair that I have on the back wall, which I'm going to show you lastly. That's my low-speed drill. That's my pulped paper. It's mostly pulped. You can see it's pretty rough still. Sometimes I like it smoother than that for a real fine finish, or finish work or sculpting, but for my purposes today it works fine. That's Rocket Dog, and these are my little test. Oh, look, there's Saffy Cat in the heat. These are my test cups of every test, or handful or test, or little fingerfuls of every batch that I've made, basically, or that I've remembered to pull some of. Like that one's super heavy. This is big chunks of pumice in a concrete slurry that I used on the roof of the Head Hutt over there. This is just lime and paper, and you can see it's a little chalky and a little more delicate, but still holding its own. It's left in the weather for 3 to 4 years now, and gets rained on when it rains. We're in Albuquerque, it's not a lot, but it sits in water, gets rained on. These that have a lot of concrete in them are pretty solid even when they get wet. These that have less concrete, and even to no, some of them like this one and this one have no concrete in them. This one, I believe, has diatomaceous earth in it. This one just lime and paper, and very little at that. And this one just lime and paper as well. All of these are, like get wet and are squishable to some extent, more than they would be without the paper when they're wet, but harden back up pretty hard, as you can see. These little guys here that look nasty are tiny little shot cups, jello cups worth of some experimental batches I did early on with some various herbs like comfrey root and burdock root, and some, I can't remember now, some other slippery stuff. I tried half a dozen different herbs, and they all worked okay, but they've all shown some signs of mold and eating away. So if you were to use a natural herb for a binder instead of lime or concrete or diatomaceous earth, you would definitely need to seal it up really well. This Taco Cat wanted to say hello, and want to show you, last but not least, this little project that I'm working on my wall. You can see my messy yard. So what happens when you make art projects in your backyard. This is my back wall project that I am finally filling in with some bottles and papercrete. And concrete would probably be more ideal, but it would cost more. And I happen to be working with papercrete these other projects, so it will totally work. I may need to touch it up with some plaster or caulk in the long run. There's my Head Hutt underway. I hope you enjoyed the little mini tour. And yeah, send me your questions and comments down below if you have any. And I would love to hear them. Till next time, peace.